Hola a todos y bienvenido a mi canal. Feliz Domingo. Happy Sunday to everyone. So today I'm finally going to be recording the most requested video by far on my channel, which is how I make my Reborn dolls. Since I am starting on the Lulu kit, if you guys haven't already seen my Bountiful Baby box opening and you want to check it out, the link will be down below in the description box. But this is video one. I'm sorry if you guys can hear the planes and stuff in the background. That happens in every single video I've ever made on this channel, whether I edited it out or not. In almost every video, there's been a plane flying in the background, so I'm really sorry about that. But I'm just going to start out by sharing with you guys all of the supplies that I use for painting. There are other supplies that you need when you're putting the doll together and stuff like that, but this is just for painting. So just the basics. I'm wearing a t-shirt. I'm not sure if you guys can see it in the frame of the video, but I'm wearing a t-shirt that I don't really care about, as well as pants that I don't really care about, just because this does get kind of messy sometimes, and I'm sort of clumsy sometimes when I'm painting, so I might spill something, I might get something on my clothing, and therefore I want to wear something that is not going to get, I'm not really going to care about if it gets dirty, because it's really hard to get this paint out of stuff. So also on my table, you can see I have a tablecloth down because I have a wooden table, and yeah, you just want to put a tablecloth down on any workspace that you're using, unless you have a table specifically for reborning and you don't care if you get paint on it already. So next you guys can see that I have the first piece of the doll that I'm working on. This is the head. So just have whatever piece you're about to work on, or pieces or whatever. I have my other pieces sitting back up here against the wall. Again, you guys probably can't see that. It's not within the frame, but I'll insert like a picture or a clip or somewhere up in the video to show you guys. But that's basically where I set my pieces while they're drying, but the piece that I'm working on I keep close to me, so I'm going to go ahead and get that out of the way for now. And again, another plane flying over. I'm really sorry, you guys. That happens, like I said, all the time. So next, for the things that I use for painting, I just have a pair of scissors. These can come in handy, so I just keep scissors whenever I need them. I have two washcloths here, and I actually use these in order to wipe my brushes off or something like that, and I always wet these with distilled water, so I'll do that in just a second. Excuse me. I also have a foam cup, and I have this because I just like to, of course, when you're working with paint, you need to clean off your brushes in water every once in a while if you're switching colors. So I like to just have a foam cup, and I also use distilled water to clean the brushes just so that nothing gets contaminated. I have my X-Acto knife, which I keep away from the brushes, that way I don't like accidentally cut my fingers or something. And I do use this to open up the eye sockets. I know that my X-Acto knife looks pretty nasty right now. I think I was using it for clay or something, and the clay was natural, so it ended up drying and looking like this, and I can't get it to come off. I could just purchase another one, but it's still sharp and it still works, so as long as it still works, I'm going to keep using it. But this is just the X-Acto knife that I have. The blades in this are also pretty easy to change out. I just, like I said, haven't changed it, but I have this for cutting open the eye sockets, and I'm just going to set that out of the way just so that I don't accidentally hurt myself, like I said. I have a little squeeze bottle, and this contains my distilled water. You guys can see my jug sitting back there, and this is Target brand distilled water, but you must use distilled water. I paint my babies with acrylic craft paint. Some people use Genesis. This is not a Genesis tutorial. This is how I do my babies with acrylic craft paint. So I need to use distilled water, and in place of the, what do you call it, the odorless thinner that you would use with Genesis paints, if you're working with acrylic, you need to use distilled water. I have tried the method of boiling the water and then putting it in the refrigerator, and to me that did not work. So I just buy the little jug of distilled water, and it's like really cheap. It's like 80 cents, and you will not go through a whole jug of that for one doll. So you will have that forever, depending on the size of dolls, how much you use, all of that. But I keep mine in a little squeeze bottle, and I just refill it when I need to, because it's a lot more convenient to have it like this and just be able to get a couple of drops at a time rather than pouring it out and, you know, risking making the mixture way too thin and liquidy. I do not make my paint mixture as thin as some other people do, but that's just a personal preference, so yeah. Then back here I have all my paint, which I'll go over in a minute, just all my paint colors that I use. I have some cosmetic wedges. These are from Dollar Tree. These are the Sassy and Chic brand. This is what they look like. I also wet these with distilled water, so I'm probably going to get a second foam cup just to use for wetting the sponges, just so that, you know, I don't contaminate anything. But these are what they look like. They're really small, but these do work. So this is the sponge brand that I like to use on my babies. So they're really cheap, and I do have this pack that I had left over from last time, and I bought a whole nother pack just so that if I ran out, I wouldn't have to go out and get more. So that's one thing that I do try to keep you know, stocked up, because sometimes the Dollar Tree has them and sometimes they don't. So yeah, I remember last time when I was making my babies in August, the Dollar Tree had completely run out of these, and I could not find them at any Dollar Tree that I went to. So now I just keep a bag fully stocked. That way, if I somehow am not able to find them again, I will still have them. So I already went over my water. I have these little SureFresh containers, and I use these to store my paint in and to mix my paint in. These are perfect because once I'm done, I can just throw them out. And they also allow me to seal my paint. That way, if I need to carry on a specific color into another day, such as the skin tone color, you know, I might not be able to finish, you know, using one color all in one day, so it might take me a couple of days to finish, and therefore I can save the paint so I don't have to try to remix it and get it to look exactly the same. And I use the lid part up here because it does have like a little lip for smaller amounts of colors like nail tips and the creases color for the lip, and just different stuff that I wouldn't really, you know, I don't really need a large amount of. That way I don't have to purchase a paint palette, because I really don't end up using the paint palette hardly ever. I just use these because, you know, they're little containers and I can seal them if I need to carry on the color. I have tweezers to pluck the cosmetic wedges. This is a brand new pair. Yeah, my tweezers always come up missing, so I end up having to repurchase a new pair with basically every baby, but just a simple little pair of tweezers. So now I'm going to go over my brushes. I have a variety of different brushes here, so I would say, honestly, for brushes, just get a whole bunch of different types. I have makeup brushes. I have different brands of brushes. Like this one is just a random generic brush. Excuse me, this is just a random generic brush that I picked up. I think this is one of my mom's brushes that she uses for painting, and there's something in it, I don't know what that is, but this is just one of the brushes that she uses for painting, and this is just, you know, you can see it's an angled brush. I have, the white brushes are the brand new set that I just purchased, and these are the Royal and Langnickel brushes, the acrylic set, white Taplon. I usually always just get a new set of brushes every single time because some brushes just get really hard. Like my bigger brushes like this, for whatever reason, I end up having to repurchase every single time. And I have these pink brushes, which are makeup brushes that I got in a set from a friend, and I just never thought I was going to need them for makeup because I'm really, really simple with my makeup, so I just use them for painting. I have some other black brushes, just a couple other ones that carried over from my last time painting. And these are just, you know, that I don't really know how to describe those. But basically, I just have a variety of brushes to work with. I have really, really fine brushes for really fine details. And, you know, I would say you need to have a good variety. The biggest one you'll probably need as far as in a brush set is maybe this size. And then probably go all the way down to like a really, really tiny liner brush like this. So that's basically my brushes, my brush set that I have to work with this time around. And I usually only ever need to buy one set because usually some brushes will carry over from the last set that I purchased, but something that I always end up having to repurchase for Reborns is brushes because I do not wash them properly. After I'm done, I usually forget, and even if I do wash them, they're not the same. I have a huge chip brush. This is a 2-inch. I purchased this in a pack from Walmart, but you can get chip brushes anywhere. I bought the Walmart kind because they're a little bit softer than like the hardware type of chip brushes, but they're still used for basically the same thing. Yeah, this is just a chip brush. This is a 2-inch. I use this for painting big areas. So for example, the head, when I'm going in and I'm applying the skin tone color, it would make more sense to do like this and to brush it on this way and just kind of make sure that I'm covering the head, then blend it out. That way everything can turn out really, really nice and even and smooth. So I do have a big chip brush for painting large surface areas. And I think that's about it for all of my supplies that I have right now that I need for painting. So I'm going to move that out of the way, the little brush set thing. So now for my colors. I do have some skin tone colors that I'm going to be using today. So I do use the Apple Barrel brand. You can get this at Walmart. They're 50 cents a piece. You can't beat it. There are tons of other brands of craft acrylic paint out there. A lot of people use Folk Art, but I've never had a problem with these. Folk Art is slightly more expensive. I think Folk Art is about $1 something a bottle, but that's still not bad. I just get these because they were the cheapest and they're the most accessible for me because I can get all the colors I need at Walmart and I don't have to travel to a lot of other stores. So the color that I have that I'm going to be using today is Territorial Beige. I'm going to mix that with Nutmeg Brown, And then for my creases today, I have melted chocolate. So these are just 3 of the skin tone colors I have. I think I have 5 or 6 different skin tone colors. This is my lightest one, and I have it all the way up to burnt umber, which is like a really, really dark brown, almost black. So I do have a lot of different skin tone colors. Well, I don't have a lot, but I have a decent amount where I can make a lot of, you know, brown tone babies. But they have skin tone colors all the way down to peach. So you can get Caucasian skin tones as well as darker skin tones as well. I have my blushing colors here today. So I have a variety of different blushing colors. So I have Cameo Pink, which as you guys can see is a light pink. I have Cranberry, and I have Bright Red. So those are the colors that I'm going to be using to do blushing. I'm also going to use Bright Red as a mottling color. I do recommend Flag Red for a mottling color because it's more of a true red, but I don't have that downstairs with me. I'll probably go upstairs and get it if I feel like it. I'll have to see. So for my veins, I have English Navy and Marsh Green. I like to blend the 2 of these together because I don't like the baby to have green veins, but I don't like them to have blue either, so I just like to blend those 2 together to get the veining color. And lastly, for my nail tips, I have Snow White, which is just white, and I have Khaki. And then for eyebrows, I'm also going to use melted chocolate. I'm not sure if I already said that, but I'm going to use that for eyebrows as well. And if I feel like I need the eyebrows to be darker, then I'm going to go ahead and use burnt umber, which, like I said, is a really, really dark brown. And that's basically everything that I have right now. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys my varnishes and things like that right now as well, since I have them down here. So I have my Americana multi-purpose sealer. I know a lot of people use the Folk Art Glass and Tile Medium, but for the life of me, I have not been able to find that in the store. So I had to find something else that I could find in the store because for whatever reason, every store that I've been to does not have it. I've been to different Michaels, I think I've went in Joann's, and I've been to Walmart, Target, places like that, and they just don't have the Folk Art Glass and Tile Medium. So I had to find something that would work for me. And for me, I found the Americana multi-purpose sealer. Now on the back of this, it says that it improves acrylic paint adhesion on slick surfaces, which is exactly what you want for a Reborn doll kit. So this is the product that I mix with every single paint mixture that I make, every one. I mix it 1-to-1, meaning whatever amount of paint I put in, I put the same amount of this. So this is an absolute must-have. I have like half of a bottle of this left, and I have a whole nother full one waiting on me. So if I need to go get the other one, I will. But this is absolute must-have. You must have something to mix with the paint. You can use the Folk Art Glass and Tile Medium if you can find it, but I couldn't, so this is what I picked up. And this I found for $2.29 at Michael's. Very, very easily accessible for me, and it does work. So I've never had a problem with the babies that I've used. The paint has never come off, scraped off, anything like that. So I really do love that. So for my varnishes, I have the Dura Clear Satin Varnish first up. And this is what I use to add a little gloss to different areas. I personally do not like the gloss varnish because I feel like it is way too glossy. I just don't like to have it to be super duper shiny. I like the baby to look slightly gloss, so for that case, I do like to use the Dura Clear Satin Varnish. I also have the Dura Clear Soft Touch Varnish, which is my finishing varnish, and I do really, really, really enjoy this. This gives the doll a very soft touch, and honestly, if you touch the vinyl without paint, it feels very, very soft and velvety and smooth, and this maintains that feeling. When you go over the vinyl with paint, it does not feel as soft because it's obviously covered in paint. And I do not like the Ultra Matte Varnish because with that, it did leave it feeling kind of rough on it. But see, when you put the Dura Clear Soft Touch Varnish on there, it leaves it feeling just as soft as it does in the beginning. So those are basically all the supplies that I use for painting. Those are all the colors and everything like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys how I make the paint mixture. I'm going to start out with the skin tone colors. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the containers, and I'll be back.